Yes, you read the title correctly, How to Stop Your Violin from Exploding. It's a thing, especially in Canadian land, where it can go from -42 to +3 in 2 days, because Canada's nuts. People can adjust to the changing temperature and humidity by just putting on more pairs of pants, 3 pairs of pants to be exact in some temperatures. But do you know who can't put on 3 pairs of pants? Your violin, or cello, or viola, or bass, all those guys. And it is a problem if you don't take care of your violin in these crazy winter seasons. Before I go into why exactly this happens and what you can do about it, I just want to tell you guys a story. I used to work at a violin and instrument repair shop. In the summer months, it was mostly, I need new strings for camp, you know, tuning up here and there. But starting in October, all the way to March, people would bring in their instruments, all exploded, and just have no idea why it happened. And first of all, that's what I mean when I say exploding. I don't mean your violin is actually exploding, but it's just slowly exploding. Because what happens in the winter is your wooden instrument shrinks. And if it's not taken care of properly, it can shrink so much with the dryness and the cold that it just starts to crack. And a popular area for cracks to form are where the glue is holding the entire thing together. Because it is glue, there's no staples in this thing, or else it would legitimately explode, like real fast. So in the winter, the violin shrinks, and the thing that most people don't think about is the violin is made out of wood, metal, and glue. Metal shrinks a tiny bit, but the thing is, the violin is made out of different types of wood that shrink and grow at different rates and speeds. The fingerboard's made out of ebony. The back, ribs, scroll, and neck are usually made out of maple, while spruce is usually used for the top, the blocks, and the lining. So you have all these different types of woods, metal, and glue fighting against the cold and compressing more and more and more until the pressure of it just has to be released somehow, and that's where you get cracks and open seams. Now, open seams are a bit easier to deal with than cracks, actually a lot easier. A luthier will usually glue it back together and then clamp it down so that it has time to dry together. With cracks, that's a whole other story, and an expensive one. And depending where the crack is, you might be looking at $100 or maybe it's $1,000. So what are people doing to make their violins explode, you ask? Well, one of the dumbest things I've seen that people do is leave their violin in the car on a cold day. Okay, listen, if it's too cold for your baby in the car while you're grocery shopping, it's too cold for your violin. The more common things that people do is they perform outside and they put on gloves because it's too cold for their fingers, but they don't think about how that impacts the violin. So a good rule of thumb, if you're cold, your violin's also cold. And here's the part where I teach you how to not explode your violin. It's really actually quite easy. The easiest way to make sure your violin is in a good humidity range, so around 40 to 50% humidity, is a hydrometer. Usually it's like a little clock or compass looking thing inside your violin case if you have a fancy one, or you can just totally buy one from the musician store for like $10. And what that will do is let you know when it's time to treat your violin with a bit of extra care. And a way that you can reinvigorate your violin is with one of these guys. Other than being a sweet mustache, this is my favorite tool to use in the dry winter months. So you soak this in water for about 10 seconds and kind of squish it to make sure the sponge soaks up all the water. And then you dry the surface off with a towel, and then you're ready to kind of put it in your violin. Just like that. And if it doesn't seem to be going in, that's okay. Just keep on kind of like putting it in at different angles because it might be catching the sound post. But this is what it should look like when it's in. Depending on how dry it is, you should be checking up on it maybe every day, 2 days, just to see if it's dried out and you need to re-water it. So as a recap, don't leave your violin anywhere where you wouldn't leave a pet or a baby. If it's too cold for you, it's too cold for your violin. So make sure that your outdoor rehearsals and performances are shorter or non-existent. What are you doing outside? Get on in here, we have hot chocolate. And the most important financial lesson is spend $10 to $20 on a hydrometer and a basic humidifier instead of spending a couple $100 or $1,000 on cracks and repairs, because that sucks. And for anyone in southern countries or milder climates, I envy you and your ability to play outside and do weddings throughout all 4 seasons. And with all that silliness and information out of the way, I hope you guys learned something today, maybe even a tiny bit. Just let me know if you want more violin tips and fun stuff. My neck, my back, and my shoulders are healing up really well, so you should see some new music videos on the way soon. I just finished recording. And huge news, I have some shows that are open to the public that you guys can check on out real soon. So check out my Instagram, check out my Facebook for more information. But I like to see you guys at anyone that you can go to. And after the performance, come on up and say hi. It's been really fun actually meeting you guys at weddings or like private events that I do, but you just happen to know who I am, and that's really cool. So stay warm, practice hard, and make sure your violin is well taken care of. Bye!